The first video definitely looked as though Nate kind of walked towards the guy with his hands up, and the guy was going like this, and that's all you see. And then it looks like Nate just grabbed his head and then choked him.
Yeah.
But on the new video, it is crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear that the dude definitely, he was the aggressor for sure. Like Nate literally walked behind the bouncer, was going like this, and then this guy.
I'm here with Jesse Merle. He's the host of Jesse on Fire. She sponsors him, and he gives away a pair of J's. I know I watched the last video you were doing about Andrew Tate, and you were giving away a free pair of J's. And for you have to buy some Sheath and then send a receipt to you type thing.
I have them do and now I tell them I used to buy Sheath underwear. Now I'm just like, buy whatever you want. That's what I was gonna say. Is one of the entries this month is a girl for the first time, where she's like, oh, I went on and there's girl stuff, and
Hell
she
yeah. So that's right. We got fly girl stuff. You can look hot in your little bikini or boy shorts and a little sports bra. Yeah. Liz Carmouche just fought again for the Bellator title, and she fights in our Sheath bra, which is pretty sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. But I have one of my others, another long-term sponsor is Yo Kratom. Those are you and them are the two that are like my main people that I really focus on. And Yo Kratom, so I ordered from them the other day, and I messed up the order where you have to if you're doing a different quantity, you have to update the cart. And so I did the quantity, then I did the order and just wasn't paying attention to how much I was paying. And I realized I hadn't updated. And so I went in and made another order, and they called me. They didn't know it was me. They just called. They were like, hey, it looks like you did back-to-back orders. Did you do that on purpose? And I explained to them what happened. And then I was like, I was just at that moment recording. I'm like, I was just doing a spot for you guys. And they're like, what's your channel? I was like, Jesse on Fire. They're like, oh my gosh, we have people call all the time that came to us from you. And I was like, that's fantastic news, because they don't have there's no promo code with them or anything. I just I have a million people reach out to me all the time asking questions about them, but
there's no promo code. Okay, 1 second, hold on, watch this. They send me this train wreck. I got some red mang.
Yeah. Oh, you take when do you take the red at night?
Yeah, at night. And to be honest, I couldn't take all that. I had to give some of that away because that bag was so obnoxiously huge.
Yeah, I just ordered a grip from them.
Because
I just order all at once, and then it just lasts forever. But I do the powder, the capsules. I don't know. There's something with my pills that are in that gel cap type thing. They take incredibly slow to digest for some reason with me. I don't know. It's always been like that. Yeah.
He's just messaging me. The dude, his name is Brandon Hall from Yo Kratom. Which Sheath for runners would you recommend? Probably the mesh.
Oh, that's the Yo Kratom guy?
Yeah, he super on the DL. He doesn't. I tried to get him to come on the podcast, and he's like, nah. I don't know what he's like.
It's because his business kind of on the margins, probably.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I met him at Skankfest. You should come to Skankfest this year, maybe.
What is it?
It's in Vegas. It's going to be September 23rd to the 25th or something, and it's just the Gas Digital Comedy Festival, posted or promoted by Louis J. Gomez, and Robbie will be there.
Dude. Yeah, I might go to that, dude. Where is it?
It's in Vegas. It's on the Old Vegas on Fremont Street, and
sick, dude.
Yeah,
it'd be good. You know when it is?
It's late September.
I have one trip over Labor Day that I am 100% booked for. Aside from that, I think I'm free in September.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be 4 days of comedy, but they do these boxing kind of games where they'll pull people out of the crowd, and they'll either blindfold them or real people that have been training, probably comedians training for a fight to do an expose. What do they call that?
An exhibition.
But they really
do they do grappling matches?
No, it's all boxing.
Dude, what if I'll tell them, I'll be like, dude, if you guys give me a spot and let me do like, give me a stage spot, I'll box too.
Yeah.
Because I'll be able to pull a fuckload of people if I was going to box to come to that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would be a good draw for you and for them.
I would need to hang up. I would need to replace jiu-jitsu with boxing for 3 months first, because I'm not going to go in there and lose. I'm going to have to go in there and starch somebody.
I can't see you losing because you're like a little pit bull.
I punch real hard.
I've had to switch over from jiu-jitsu back to boxing recently because of my knee injury, and I can move around, I can dance, I just can't like do like awkward push-up contorted jiu-jitsu type moves, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of bumming me out a little
I've been getting hurt a lot, dude.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Dude, it's just like, yeah, I don't know, dude. Like I'm not sure if, because I've always been like compact and a little bit stiff, you know, and which is fantastic for boxing. And you know, because I can like really explode. But for jits, like I just do these things where I'll like, you know, I don't know, I just move and it's just like up my rib, you know, and like I get done, it's like up my knee, you know, like I'm just doing like a stretch before I rolled on Friday, and I'm like, okay, now I have something going on with my knee. It's like, what the man? It just tore my bicep tendon. It's like,
yeah. Tell me. I mean, not to necessarily that the crowd will. Well, I know that your bicep tendon was tore. How is that healing?
It's better now. Like it's much better. It's because it's been 8.5 weeks. I'll tell you what, my jiu-jitsu got a lot better though, because I couldn't make a grip. Well, first of all, I couldn't train at all for about a month, and then I came back. And I would like tie my left arm into my belt, you know, and then, and so I focused like, so if you can't do anything with your arm, there are a few things that you can still do very well in jiu-jitsu. Like, so I trained very heavy on escaping the back. So if someone's on my back, escaping the back, and then I, you know, and then also turtle to back position. So now basically, my game elevated to where if I'm, you know, if I have someone in guard and it feels like they are going to pass, I can super quick move to turtle, and then I work my, you know, turtle defense and then back escapes if they take my back. And it's like,
is that turtle like kind of like,
yeah, where you turtle and like, you know, you get it's a move that does not work in MMA, but it works in jiu-jitsu. You know, it's like because you just tuck your limbs inside of your knee and you put your head down. Now, someone good is going to be able to break you down and at least generally get one hook in. But if you've got, you know, the other thing too is I'm built very favorably for like being very challenging to submit from there, because I'm like, my neck is really small. And so I can just kind of go like this, and it's like, it's really hard to get under my neck. And then Shanji at Six Blades has a very specific back escape technique that, like, when you do it correctly, it makes it really hard for people to keep your back. And honestly, like what changed also throughout that process was like, I like being in bad positions now, just because like I used to like really get a lot of satisfaction out of offensively passing someone's guard, or, you know, grabbing an arm and then realizing I'm like, this is a matter of time. Like I'm either going to Kimura this guy or armbar him. But not like, I like being in a bad position and then escaping and then feeling them like get frustrated where they're like, you know, like they thought they had me and I just very easily escaped. And they're like, you know, guys that are good. I mean, not super good. I can't get Steve off my back for the life of me, dude. I was, I mean, he's a world champion, but it is what it is.
Are there any like major UFC fighters at your gym? Or
No, my gym they're all major jiu-jitsu. You know, like Victor Hugo, who world champion. He was just in that super fight thing in Brazil. He's been gone for I think like 10 days because he was down there for the super fight. He got to the semifinals. He won world's gi. He originally got second in the no-gi worlds, but then the dude who won popped hot for juice and they stripped him, and so he became the champion. And then And then Sean G is like the patriarch of the gym, and he's like he's considered the greatest guard passer of all time, and he's incredible.
I feel like I would pop hot for juice.
I would too, for 100% sure. It's weird though. They only like in IBJJF, they only test like the champion or something, or like the top few guys. It's weird. ADCC, they don't test like, I mean, most of those guys are on gear,
well,
ADCC.
I mean, I'm just getting up there in age, and I'm just trying to keep my levels at a level when I was younger,
That's what Cyborg said about the guy who what actually happened was USADA showed up and they fled. Like they all so the podium is just like, it's like Victor and this other guy, and the other two dudes were just not there because USADA came and they're like, oh shit.
I have an appointment. I got to go return my DVDs to Blockbuster.
One dude popped hot for Tren. A guy who was like, he's super young too, dude. Like he was like, it's not like a TRT situation. You know what Trenbolone is?
Yeah, I have some. I just haven't. I've been scared to take it because I've heard things.
It'll turn your muscles into rocks.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that. I want to be like that stacked, jacked bull.
That's what I mean. The guys that look ridiculous. I mean, you could probably do it without Tren, but Tren is insanely effective. Also, the only thing that I've ever taken where I felt overwhelming side effects immediately.
Whoa, like what?
Whoa. Dude, so it was a long time ago. It was like 2007, but I just remember, like my shin muscle, which has always been pretty hard, literally felt like it was a tree log. Like it was they were so hard. It was insane. I'd be like, Gabrielle, feel this. I like feel it. But then like I would, it was like I was shaky, like I couldn't sleep well. I was like agitated. It was my heart would race. It was just like that stuff is no joke, dude.
Well, that's why I haven't taken it. I'm just trying to keep it on like a microdosery level with the stuff I'm doing. I mean, I take like 50 mgs or mgs, mLs, mgs.
No, milligrams. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, whatever. Of testosterone twice weekly, and just kind of like super. I think that's low level.
That's very low. Do you test your levels? Like, do you know like what you're like where?
Every now and then.
And what do they test at?
Like nothing abnormal, like too crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I was at like 800 or 1,000.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what when I tested last, I was at 875.
Yeah,
and I use undeconate, so I only shoot once every like 6 to 7 weeks.
You were telling me about that last time. I need to check that out. I got the Sipinate. For those of you out there that are looking into these things, it's like where do I even get this stuff? The doctor. Yeah, the doctor. Yeah, the street farmer. No, I'm just joking. I do go to a clinic on and off, but I also supplement because the doctor there, you have to go there to get the injections, and it's like a stupid price. Even though I have a couple bucks, I don't like you're charging me like 10x what it should cost.
Yeah, dude. You know what? And let me tell you a crazy story about that in particular. That like just because it seems important for people to know. So I don't know causality, but basically, okay. So like I went and did a physical. Whenever that was, this is when I got my levels checked. But like it must have been, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. And the lady did the blood draw, and I go to the place Total Men's Care where they do like that's one of their main things is they do testosterone. And she pulled my blood and she was like, "Oh wow." She's like, "Your blood." I'm like, "Does the blood look good?" She's like, "It's great." She's like, "It's just coming right out of you." And I was like, "I mean, is that weird?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's really." She's like, "Here, where we do a lot of testosterone injections, like people's blood gets so thick that they have to go give blood every however long in order to not have that happen." I'm like, that sounds very bad for you.
I was having to do that, but I also live in super high elevation, so your blood tends to get thicker to carry more oxygen molecules. I live at 8,500 feet elevation, and so my blood was getting thicker. It was like at 19, whatever that number is. they're measuring, and you want it to be like 17. So I went and donated every 3 months for like a year, and now it's at 16, and that's more in line with healthy. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because the only difference is I do the kind that you don't have to fire up every week, you know? So like, I don't know if that's why.
That could be something. Yeah. I need to check that out, but we'll move off of the TRT for now. I did, because I wanted to we played one of your videos on our live stream yesterday, the Sheath YouTube channel, and it was the Nate Diaz kind of where he was kind of seemingly running away from the attacker. Can you give any like updates on that?
I mean, just what's in the video is it seems it seems very clear that that from the second angle, so like when the first video of Nate, and by the way, that video got age restricted. Can you believe that? Okay. 18 plus age restricted. That's why I keep checking on my new videos, because after that video got age restricted, my impressions went way down. This video is killing it though, so I think we're good. But yeah, like, so the first video definitely looked as though Nate kind of walked towards the guy with his hands up, and the guy was going like this, and that's all you see. And then it looks like Nate just grabbed his head and then choked him. Yeah. But on the new video, it is crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear, that the dude definitely, he was the aggressor for sure. Like Nate literally walked behind the bouncer, was going like this, and then this guy, who it turns out is an MMA fighter. Now, the thing that they showed on the video where it was like pro MMA fighter, and then they showed his record and it said 18-3, that's not his MMA record. That's actually his Jiu-Jitsu World League record. I recognize that. I recognize the website. Like, that's Jiu-Jitsu World League. And it'll say like, and so he's a blue belt wins a lot more than he loses at blue belt. So he knows what he's doing. Yeah. And like blue belts that compete are good. Like they're not slouches. And if he wins a lot more than he loses, he's probably looking at Nate. And this is a guy who is he's 0-5 in MMA. Let's just say that. Right. That's what I remember you saying on one of your videos. But like a person who trains enough and then goes and does tournaments, you'll get a certain level of confidence. And if he's looking at Nate Diaz, he's a Logan Paul impersonator. Mm-hmm. So he's obviously a person who is very much after attention. He understands about going viral. My guess is he saw Nate Diaz and he was like, ooh, he's like, I could sneak this dude and I can be the one that starts Nate. This can be my moment. Because he very clearly is walking towards Nate. Nate's sitting there. And then once he gets close enough to Nate and he's going like this, even though he's just literally beelined right at Nate. And then that's when Nate's like, because Nate's like, yeah, okay. Like, you're not going to catch Nate slipping, dude. Like, you start walking towards it. And Nate's like, oh, you think because your hands are up, I don't see what you're doing. And so, look, I don't know if he shot or if Nate just grabbed his head and choked him, but very, very, very clearly that guy was the aggressor and intended to either swing on Nate or, just tangle up. I mean, tangling up is, as he found out, fucking idiotic, dude. Yeah. I mean, you maybe underestimate how good, Nate Diaz is, because he looks, when he's fighting, like so relaxed and so just like kind of nonchalant when he's in the cage, like it's not a big deal. But in the old days when he would triangle people and do like the fuck yous, and he won the Ultimate Fighter, which is something you have to beat everyone in that house. Mm-hmm. And then I'm surprised he was never champion, but I guess he just like the era, and there's always somebody that's a little bit better, but he's always, top of the food chain. Yeah. He just has such a goofy, not goofy, just like very unique and kind of like you said, he's like just relaxed. And he's just like, he's throwing it out there. It doesn't, like when you watch like BKFC last night and you watch Chad Mendes throwing punches, you're like, fuck, dude, I would not want to be in front of that dude. Yeah. He just wings them. And that you're like, Jesus, I don't want to get hit with that. Nate, his punches just don't look like that. But it's thing people don't understand is the more it's really about that like whip, and so like it doesn't look like he's throwing that hard, but it's like whoa, and then at the end he snaps it. I mean, Leon Edwards found out the hard way. He got clipped and almost got knocked out at the end of that fight.
Yeah,
but also, I mean, you just think about the shots that Nate has been hit with, and it's like, you really think that you're going to be able to starch Nate? Like, you really think that even if he sees you at all, I mean, maybe if you completely blindside him where he's like drinking a beer and doesn't realize that you're there.
Yeah.
And even then, dude. Like
Jorge Masvidal him from behind.
Yeah, or something. It's like, I mean, the guy's demonstrated his chin is granted. It's, I mean, like there's just such a predictable outcome. People do not understand how, like when people go, dude, there's levels to this thing. And also one other thing about blue belts in jiu-jitsu, which I have the self-awareness and insight into because of the level of black belts that I roll with, is they're not ever going 100% against you. Like they're really not, like you feel like you're doing well and whatever. Maybe low level guys, but so you do pretty well against some of these really high level guys. They're never going to tell you like, hey dude, I'm going 25% because, and so it's possible this guy's, it's possible he's rolling with guys that have given him, but Nate Diaz has been a black belt in jiu-jitsu for 20 fucking years, dude. And he's never stopped training. He's a Cesar Gracie black belt. Exactly. These guys that's where we started. These guys are super legit, world-class. Jake Shields level guy. And he's built for jiu-jitsu. Like, do you see how easy it was for him to choke that guy? He's just built to choke. He put the guy out in 5 seconds.
He could have closed his eyes and just not even, he just so like second nature and that type of thing.
Yep.
What happened? I totally forgot the BKFC was happening last night. I was supposed to go because it's in Colorado. I wasn't supposed to go. I looked into buying tickets because Sandhagen was going to go, and we sponsor a couple of people. We sponsor a lot of fighters, and First Round Management was telling me about Mike Perry and Ben Rothwell. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Luke Rockhold was going to win. What happened?
Mike Perry won.
Okay.
I thought Rockhold was going to win too. And what happened was Mike Perry hit Rockhold looked good in the first round. Then in the second round, Mike Perry hit Luke Rockhold with a shot straight to the teeth. And he knocked both of Luke Rockhold. He broke the two front teeth of Luke Rockhold. And so like Luke didn't get knocked down. He just literally went like this, and they waved it off. And it was really weird. Everyone was like, what happened? Like, what happened? And then that's the video that I literally just posted, was like a picture of his broken grill. Like he has one tooth that's kind of that one tooth that broke in half, and then another one that's like, wow, it's like pushed back to where you can see it's gonna have to get pulled. And
oh no,
dude, honestly, that's why. I mean, last night's event was awesome.
Okay,
it was awesome. That said, I personally prefer if guys are wearing MMA gloves. There is absolutely no impact on whether or not guys get knocked out if they're wearing, little MMA gloves. But, without the MMA gloves, what's different is they get cut easier, teeth get knocked out easier. They just I just don't. If the game is to try to hit guys without getting hit. Mm-hmm. The damage is catastrophic with an MMA glove. It's just when you don't have the MMA glove on, it's just a little bit more brutal. And I just don't see what the benefit of it is from a sport perspective, And I mean, their name is bare knuckle. Like, they're not going to change. It's just it's what it is. But a
lot of people are moving. There was a bunch of big names on that card. I mean, I recognized most of the main card.
Mendez versus Eddie Alvarez. And that was a great fight. Eddie Alvarez won by split decision. Really, really close fight.
Wow.
Dude, they had already been multiple knockdowns in the final round. There was 30 seconds left. It was definitely coming down to that round. Eddie Alvarez clips Mendez, and Mendez goes down. And you're like, because Mendez was exhausted. Mendez gets up, and then with 7 seconds left, he knocked Eddie Alvarez down.
Wow.
Like, it was awesome, dude. It's a great fight.
Damn. Yeah, I was watching like the Song Yadong versus whoever.
BKFC was on after that. It was on like the main card started like after. It was like
okay.
Lots of fights last night.
The UFC did start at like 5, and it was over by about 8 my time, which would be 9 your time. Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Conor McGregor went into the ring with a BKFC strap on his shoulder and faced off with Mike Perry after Mike Perry won. I bet you Dana was just like, what the fuck, man? Because Mike Perry, they were like, what do you want to say, Mike Perry? He's like, can I, because Conor was there, he's like, can I get a face off with Conor McGregor? And they gave Conor a belt, and he went in there with a BKFC belt on his shoulder and faced off with Mike Perry. I was like, dude, they should give Mike Perry a $500,000 bonus for that,
Damn. Maybe I should have sponsored him for that event.
Mike Perry?
Yeah.
How much did he want?
Like 5. It wasn't that. I mean, these just,
I just don't know how do you sell product from there,
He would have been on his shorts, and he would have done the weigh-in and Sheath. And that's what's better about those other organizations is they're allowed to, put their sponsors on their shorts and weigh in something besides Venom.
They had one of the sponsor that they had that was very visible was Lions Not Sheep. And they were all over the place. Like I went to their website. Like I was like that, and I don't know how much they paid for it, but that event overperformed by a long shot. Dude.
Wow,
they did really well last night. You could tell because Dave Feldman, the BKFC CEO, who I mean, how you could kind of feel how well an event is doing just because it's like I was just talking about this in my video. It's like the way that the world is now, it's like we're so interconnected that like an event like that, because of Twitter and Instagram, and you can feel how much people are paying attention to it, which obviously translates exactly to how well it does. And you just feel it was like, man, this event's going to kill. And Dave Feldman, when you get midway into the main card, anytime that you interview the guy whose life is on the line based on the pay-per-views, you can always tell how well it did. They're always going to be like, this is one of the most incredible nights ever. But if you're good at, reading people's poker face,
right?
And Feldman last night looked like he had just like
won the lottery,
robbed a bank, and gotten away with it, dude.
Nice.
He was so
feeling
stoked.
it. Well, that was probably one of the biggest events that I've seen promoted, and Conor was there. That's pretty wild. Luke Rockhold,
Gaethje, Kamaru, Trevor Whitman, Cowboy, all of them were there. It was wild. Dude.
Whoa! I should have fucking gone. It was in my neck of the woods.
You should have definitely gone. It was sold out too.
And yeah, I could. And I was looking at tickets a couple weeks ago, and they were still available. $250, something like that, for just like decent seats.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I stayed home and chilled out with my wife, and we just watched fights, and then we watched some Naked and Afraid afterwards.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I was watching I started a new show yesterday that I would highly recommend to anybody. This is like, I'm gonna say it and people are gonna be like, well, duh. Like 1,000 people told me to watch this and I didn't. Dope Sick on Hulu.
Okay, no.
It's fucking amazing. So it's about the opioid crisis and the pharmaceutical company that started it, and then all that. And like the reason I hadn't watched it is because I watched the 2-part, like 4-hour documentary on HBO called Crime of the Century about it, which everyone should also watch. Nice. And so my mom and my mom told me about it 10 times. A bunch of other people were like, dude, have you seen Dope Sick? And I was like, I already know the whole story. Like, why would I watch it? And finally, my mom yesterday was like, listen, she's like, the reason it's so good is because it really focuses on like the human impact of the people involved in this thing. And I'm like, all right. So I put it on, and I must have ripped through 4 hours of it yesterday. It's so good. Like,
okay.
It's so good.
All right. I'd like a good rec.
Fucking cocksuckers, dude. Fuck these guys, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't say it too loud. You get Tucker Carlson.
I'm saying, dude, they are reprehensible. They're the devil. And now that this is you can feel free to edit this out if you want, because I wouldn't say this on my channel necessarily. But dude, these big pharma guys are the devil. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's like you look at what happened in this opioid crisis. You actually look at, and I've seen Crime of the Century. I already knew all this, but watching it again, and then you come back to exactly how they pulled this off with direct corruption in the FDA that is just overtly crystal clear. This is how they did it. Okay, they got some guy in the FDA to put on the label that it was not that Oxycontin is it, dude. They went around and told every doctor in the country that only 1% of people who take Oxycontin get addicted to it. They went to the entire fucking country of doctors and told them 1% of people who take Oxycontin get addicted. Dude, 100% of people who take Oxycontin get addicted to it. All of it, every single person. It's the most addictive like pharmaceutical ever. And they actually, I mean, this was in every pamphlet they handed out. They had studies on it. Check this shit out. This is the most fucking crazy thing about this entire story. So once everyone started, once like they went so big and everyone started getting addicted and it was like getting too big for them to, keep saying the thing about the 1% addiction thing. They found this fucking quack, like well-known doctor who came up with a theory called, oh my God, some kind of like something addiction, where his theory is that no one is actually addicted to it. It's just that they think that they are. And the way that you solve it is you give them more of the same medication and it takes care of the symptoms every time. You're all,
wow.
What? And so they did, like when they're fucking evil, dude. And then you look at anything that these pharmaceutical companies say through that lens, and you're like, why would you believe why would you not assume that anything they say is the opposite of true? Safe and effective. Oh, they're safe and effective. They're 100% against transmission. Oh, never mind, 0% against transmission. It's just fucking ridiculous, dude. How they get away with this shit is absolutely corruption, top to bottom. There's nothing else to it. It's like, and now with all this trans shit, not to go down that fucking rabbit hole, but I also just found out that like they sourced. Okay, so there's a law that just passed in Minnesota that makes it a sanctuary state for kids who want to transition. They can go to Minnesota, that Minnesota will hide them from their parents and then like put them in a halfway home. They will help them, pay for them to get transitioned, all of that shit. Like they literally are like, we will take your kid, like we'll take your kid from you. If they want to transition, we'll help them transition. And it was like, and people started looking at, they're like, who would pass a law like this? And it comes back to this lobbying group, which is getting their funding from, wait for it, the devil. Because why? Because when people transition, they become lifetime pharmaceutical customers. They're fucking Satan, dude. They're the devil incarnate. The worst people on the fucking face of the earth.
That's a good incentive. I was always kind of wondering, like, why would people be promoting this as a viable option when they know that the suicide rate and the people that want to retransition back is pretty high, or they feel like they maybe made a mistake and they're way too young. They can't even get tattoos legally, but they can, change their sexual orientation.
Even if they do detransition, they're still lifetime pharmaceutical company, customers.
Yeah, I don't think you can really, I don't think you can really retransition. I guess in some cases, if you don't go like the full transition, but
you can transition back, but you have to take the opposite hormones because like they said, oh yeah, you just take puberty blockers. And then if you stop taking them, everything's fine. It's like, do you have any long-term studies on that? They're all, no. You're like, so what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a theory.
What the fuck are you talking about? And it's like all the studies show that that's actually not true. And people, it's like there are bad actors and fucking morons. That's what you have. You have bad actors, you have morons, and then you have a handful of people who actually have gender dysphoria who felt very, very trapped in their own life, this tiny little group. And so they're like, if it was this easy when I was growing up, it would have been amazing. So I'm going to be the loudest person ever because my own experience, which doesn't reflect the experience of fucking anyone. So I'm going to go be
a small percentage.
It's fuck these people, dude.
It is, this world that we're living in today is just, it's like so sideways. And they talk about these other great empires that fell, and this is the type of direction they were headed in when it happened, and it's like happening all around us. And I'm just trying to like live my life and do my thing, and I wish kind of everybody would just kind of do your thing, stay out of my business, I'll stay out of your business, but then I don't like when people advocate for stuff that maybe works for them, but you don't know how it's going to work for other people. And, you know, especially if the studies aren't like long-term studies aren't readily available yet, just chill out. I mean, you can give your opinion and your experience. In my experience, this is what happened, but to say that it's good for everyone to be, you know, if you feel this certain way, then you need to do this and this is going to fix everything, and sell it as a fact, like, chill. This is not science. Like, this is not like embedded in stone yet.
It's ridiculous. And we're going to look back on it and be like, wow, dude, like that's insane. Well, what they're actually going to do is they'll just rewrite history. They'll just be like, oh, we never said that. Like, we were never advocating for that. It'll never happen. Justin Trudeau last week is on a stage and he said that he never forced any Canadians to take the shot.
He is.
Did you see that clip?
Ever. No, but I know he was like canceling people's bank accounts because they were in that truck parade.
He directly made it law that you can't work for the federal government if you don't take the shot. You can't go into a restaurant if you don't take the shot. You can't come in and out of the country if you don't take the shot. You can't get on a train if you don't take the shot. He's like, oh yeah, but I never forced anyone. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you cannot just come out and say you didn't do that when you.
That's what they do these days. They like blatantly lie right to your face and act like you're the idiot for not believing them, and it's super frustrating. That's why I have had to turn off the news. I mean, say what you want about Trump, but I feel like he was too openly honest to he would just say whatever he was thinking. I mean, maybe he lied a couple of times, but it mostly seemed genuine, honest. Like, these are his intentions. We're going to build a wall. We're going to clean the swamp. Now, he didn't do the swamp thing so much. Did kind of work on the wall.
I don't think it's I don't think it's possible.
Exactly.
I don't think it's possible. And I used to kind of be like, like Trump, you know, like lesser of two evils in 2016. I was like, Trump cannot be president. Like, that guy cannot win. 2020, I was like, definitely the lesser of two evils after everything that I've seen. Now, I have no shame, dude. None. When I went to UFC 287 and I was in that stadium and he walked in and the whole entire place stomping their feet, USA, USA. I was just like, dude, fuck these people. You know what I mean? Fuck these people who pretend like he's the worst guy ever. Like, oh, it's a bunch of white supremacists. It's ridiculous, dude. Like,
that's what they say about people who are like aren't in line with what they're trying to sell us.
Exactly. And like, you know, I'm watching Dope Sick and Waco, The Aftermath. Those are the two shows I'm watching right now. And Yellow Jackets is fire. That
Yellow Jackets. Okay.
But the Waco one, there's a lot of stuff about these like white supremacist groups and who were like terrorists and I mean, that shit is real. It was very real back then. It's still real now. But the idea that you can just say that like everyone are like them, it's like, what are you talking about? These guys are talking about blowing up buildings.
Right.
We just wanted to be able to keep our job without taking the thing that you're forcing down our throat, which has no long-term studies and has thus been proven to not be effective at all and whatever. Like, there's nothing even similar about us at all, you know?
Yeah.
But then on the Dope Sick thing, there's a big storyline where there's a girl in one of these like little hick towns that where they really focused the rollout of the Oxy, and she's gay. And they show, you know, it's like, and her dad is like this super old school coal mining, you know, Christian guy where it would kill me if you were gay. And you watch like what that's like, and it's like, that's so fucked up.
That's harsh. Yeah.
It's super crazy. And
oh man,
it's like, where is the middle ground, dude? So we go from, you know, it's from that to like, hey, will fucking steal your 12-year-old and then will cut their dick off. You're like, dude, I feel like there's some fucking middle ground here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People just need a little bit more time. Some need a little bit more time than others to come around. I
exactly.
mean, it took me at first. I was like kind of whatever you want to call brainwashed into what the Bible said about this being not, it's a sin, or I don't even know. Actually, I grew up. My mom had a gay friend when I was little. He was flamboyant, but he was always very nice. I never disliked anyone. I was just like, you don't have to, like, you don't put it in my face and don't put it in everyone's face all the time. And now it's like all over the place, everywhere, on every commercial. Guys are making out. And you're like, enough. You're selling me, cereal. I don't need two guys making out. But anyways, there's still people, and that's harsh to have to go. There's still people. That's obvious. And trans people are people, and they have feelings, and I don't want to hurt anyone. I want you to do you. I'm going to do me. And let's just like live and let live type.
Dude, I have zero issue with gay people at all.
Yeah.
I have no more issue with gay people as I do with like my next door neighbors who are married, and like I have no issue with them at all. And in all honesty, my biggest issue with this trans thing is, if I really dig in it, it's protecting gay people. It really is, dude, because I know how this is playing out. You create this paradigm where trans, and I'm really good at kind of putting myself in the position of a person and like, okay, if I felt like this, how would this play out? Like the people who are getting tricked into becoming trans in many, many, many cases are gay, and so like they're like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to do with this. Like,
right,
I'm attracted to girls. I'm a girl, and it's like, I don't really know how to process this.
Yeah.
I must be and they're like, you're a boy. You're a boy. It's like, dude, you're not a fucking boy.
And you're going to be rewarded if you do this. You're going to get celebrated, exactly. And then you're going to be a hero.
You're a fucking hero. And dudes too. It's like, oh, I'm a girl. It's like, dude, you're gay. Just be a gay dude. They have the best life ever. Like, like if you're a trans girl, no dudes want to hook up with a trans girl. If you're a fucking dude who's gay, you get to do whatever you want. You hop on Grindr. You can get a blowjob at 5 minutes notice at any time of your entire life. Just be gay. Trust me, it's awesome. I would imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a new comedy, show on Netflix, and the guy was talking about what's that show where they get married? Like it's one girl and like 30 dudes.
Bachelor.
The Bachelor, but if they did a gay version of The Bachelor, where it was like one dude and then 30 dudes, the producers would like walk into the house of the 30 dudes because they're all young and hot and ready to fuck basically. Oh, yeah. They would just all be fucking themselves while this other dude was out alone. I'm totally butchering the joke.
No, but that is exactly right.
Jim Jeffries.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's like, I actually should write a bit about this, dude, about like, I wish I was gay because I mean, honestly, it's like you go on like if you go on any of those like websites or apps or whatever that like, it's like, oh, these aren't dating. These are just like, you come on here, you find someone that wants to fuck. It's like, dude, I don't need to be a rocket scientist or to go on them myself to know those are 98% dudes on there and then bots. It's like, so all you have to do is just be like, oh, well, if you were gay, like it's all people that are, you're like, where do you live? Send a picture. Okay, that'll work. It's like I'll
be there in 5 minutes.
It's a sex menu 100% of the time,
Oh my God. Yeah. Then they're just like getting high and fucking and living
doing
the dream.
Meth and fucking for 25 straight hours, dude.
Yeah. Living the dream. Especially now. I mean, and now it's like socially acceptable and everything's fine. I'm more of like, we need to get off this, but I don't talk about my sexuality or how often I have sex with my wife or whatever. I don't need to know about your just sexuality too much. Just it's like not as important, but it's brought to the forefront a lot, and that kind of annoys me a little bit. Which
me too.
Especially on TV. But go ahead.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say is like when I started watching Dope Sick, it's like, oh, shocker. The first romantic relationship they show are two girls. Like, who could have fucking guessed that? Every single show does this now. But then it's like, okay, at least in this one, it's like we're showing this to you to actually demonstrate a human, like, traumatic, thing that happens. Yeah. It's like this is real. Like, this is really what it's like for these people. It's like, all right, now this is actually interesting. I just am like, when there is no reason for there to be this side romantic story, and it's clearly just like, well, we got to get a gay relationship in there. You're like, oh my God. And it's like, it's not just that, it's every single show. It's like, okay, so if they're doing a show about X, I already know how they're going to portray it. It's like, oh, this is a show that's going to show, the aftermath of the Waco thing. And I'm like, well, they're doing this so that they can show how terrible and terrifying white supremacists are, because that, plays into whatever they're trying to do now. It's like, there's never a counter narrative to anything they do. I watch American Horror Stories. I think that's a really good show, or it used to be. And then they were like, well, let's stop being so subtle. And then every single episode is some woke fucking nonsense. They did one where it was the 1700s and there's some disease, and then like they come up with a vaccine, and these like Christian crazy people won't let them take the vaccine, so they all turn into fucking zombies. You're like, oh my God, fuck you. So so religious people are evil. People who are anti-vaxxers are morons. It's just like, just shut the fuck up, Jesus.
And mind your fucking business. And you were wrong anyways. Like, you didn't know. We didn't know. We decided to be hesitant. And then we decided doubling down. Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know what you're injecting in me, and I don't fucking trust you.
I don't trust you. Lie. What reason do I have to trust you?
Yeah. There's been so many accounts, including this Dope Sick and opioid crisis, that are so like in your obviously true, or that you are not telling us the facts because you want to make money. Wars, vaccines, and apparently this whole trans thing is being pushed by the medical professionals to make more money, or the pharmaceutical companies.
They always cloak it in virtue, oh, we need to get everybody to take the shot so we can end this terrible thing. And you're like, and you'll make $1 trillion though.
Yeah.
Right? But you'll make $1 trillion. Oh, okay. That's good. We need to help these young kids who are struggling with dysphoria. You're like, but you'll make $1 trillion, right? Well, yeah. We need to absolve the world of its pain. What could be more important? But you're going to turn the world into a bunch of opioid addicts, and you're going to make $1 trillion. Like, well, yeah, it's just a byproduct. It's like, stop fucking pretending like you give a shit about people. Like, right. You just stop it. You don't.
It's that bottom line, and those people, they've just, I have a business. I want to sell more underwear. I don't know what type of unethical thing I would have to do to get people like, you need to wear SHEATH, because if you don't wear SHEATH, people are going to die.
Yeah. Hey, trans girl, you need SHEATH because that makes you more of a boy.
Yep. Honestly, you could they put like Packers in the pouch
for dudes who transition to be girls, and you're just like, hi.
The other way around. So if a girl's transitioning to be a guy,
it make it look like they've got a bulge or whatever.
It makes it look like they got a bulge. And we actually sponsored this guy named Laith Ashley. He's a trans man. Spent the night at my house. We stayed up all night talking. He came to do a photo shoot. Yeah, quick little fuck. No, I'm just kidding. But he was, super nice. Just a normal guy, as much as he could be. And yeah, because we were talking about relationship issues. He was having problems with his girlfriend, and point is, we never promoted that we had a trans guy that modeled for us, and he killed it. He's probably one of the best models we've ever had, just because that's what his profession was. And he ended up being on like GQ and all these. He was on ESPN and all these things. As like, he is kind of like a famous I was going to call him a drag trans dude. Those are different.
He's such a hero.
Yeah. But we don't promote, I never told anyone, and I didn't even know. I just thought we had a dude coming to do a photo shoot, and then someone messaged me. They Googled him and was like, "Did you know he's trans?" And I was like, "Whoa!" And blah blah blah. Blair White, another one,
dude. I know this dude. I don't know. I think I might have even told you. I don't know. But like when I was in 7th grade, right? So this is way before the fucking trans movement. When I was in 7th grade, there was this crew. Like when I was in 6th grade, the 8th grade kids were like the gangster. There was like this group of like the gangster kids, and there was this one. It was like everybody knew that this person was a girl, but she like shaved her head, baggy clothes, completely presented as a dude. But it was just kind of like known. It was like she's a girl. Like, you know, fast forward like 25 years or something, you know, or 20 years or whatever. Yeah, like 20 years. And I ended up interacting with this dude that owns a restaurant. There's not one person on fucking planet Earth that would know that this person was born a dude, like, or born a girl. I mean, like, never beard, everything. Like, you would never know. Wow. And it turned out it was the same person. Like, she'd been living as a dude her entire life. And like, I mean, she's indistinguishable in any capacity whatsoever. The only thing that I noticed about him, which I noted and that most people probably wouldn't see anyway, was when I was talking to him, I was like, dude, this guy, there's something different about this guy. Like he actually really feels like he's like listening to me when I talk in a way that most dudes don't, you know, like I was like this, I'm like, it's really interesting. It's like, this guy seems very engaged in a really like pleasant way. And it's like, oh, of course he's born a girl. That's why he's like cool and listening, as opposed to dudes who are just stupid assholes.
Are you in the same town that you grew up in?
No.
Okay.
This was probably 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Where did you grow up again?
Walnut Creek, California.
Okay. And you're in Austin-ish area right now. Okay. Yeah. I was in Southern California, Georgia, a bunch of different places growing up. But like Middle Georgia, for instance, I went to high school and there was 50% black people, 50% white people, and like 3% Mexican, and just add that on top.
Did you guys hang out with the black dudes?
Yeah. I mean, my neighbors were black. We skateboarded, we played basketball, we did other shit kids do, you know, fucking just causing ruckus and fucking around and shit. But we were all friends. And that's why when I hear about all these like the racial sort of issues, and I'm like, but I was there and we all got along perfectly fine. I mean, of course there were
concocted by the same groups, dude. They just want us all divided so we don't unite. It's just as simple as that. I like at our kids' school, there's tons of black kids there. And like, dude, my youngest daughter, anytime that it's like she's gonna go buy a doll. I'm talking like since she was 2. Anytime she was gonna buy a doll, she always picks the black doll. Always. It's hilarious. And then the kids that she has crushes on, my youngest daughter loves the black kids, dude.
Well, what's not to love?
Everything.
So it is I mean, we need to all just keep moving forward and quit bickering, because what they do is they just blow these like tiny little instances out of proportion, way bigger than they actually are. It's an instance, and they make it seem like it's happening all day, every day, whether it's a trans person issue or a racial issue. And it was that instance, and let's just like focus on that one thing, fix that one, punish the guy if he did some fucked up hate crime, you know, and I'm cool with that. If he did something, you're breaking the law, but don't make it seem like I'm a racist just because if I'm a Republican, or if I like Jesus, you know, all of a sudden I'm this horrible person. And I'm a libertarian. I changed my registration, and I am kind of more Buddhist, but I don't hate Jesus. I think he was a good guy. And do you know what the Holy Grail is?
I mean, I know what it is, like in the movie.
What is
Holy Grail is in like the Indiana Jones movie.
In the Da Vinci Code. I'm reading the book because I'm going to rewatch the movie. I probably watched it a long time ago.
If you've read the book, you won't like the movie. I've heard, because I really liked the movie, but I hadn't read the book. Everybody who had read the book was like, the movie sucks.
Yeah, I can't imagine them putting all these details in, and because I don't really remember watching it, but I know I watched it at one point. But I'm going to tell you all what the Holy Grail is, and you're gonna agree with me. It is the vagina. Because it gives
life.
Life. It's pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. I enjoy it.
A big fan.
And so, Jesus supposedly had sex with Mary Magdalene, and they had a kid. And the Holy Grail is like the bloodline, but it's the vagina ultimately. And I don't know because in the Bible, they make the woman out to be evil, and she's the original sin, and they cast Mary Magdalene out to be some whore, essentially, when she was actually a woman from a wealthy family. She was with Jesus, but they wanted Jesus to be the Son of God, who was virgin birth. He never had sex with anyone. He never had a relationship, and he died, like this perfect person, which I don't know why you would be perfect by not having sex, but they wanted to make the male to be the more supreme being than the female. The female comes out of the rib of the man, That's not what happened. I mean, men come out of women.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they benefit from, teaching this message, but it was very strange. And
I think I have theories about this. Is I think an easy place to start would be the following. I think that the reason why pedophilia is so prevalent in the Catholic Church is because people who are born with that affliction, yes. And I don't have any pity for them. I think that we should just knock them off and get them out of the gene pool. But them, people who have that, they know that they have it. And so they are looking for a place where they're never allowed to act on their sexual impulses. And so they go into the priesthood because they know it's not allowed. And then they just can't. They just
can't
are
help themselves.
Right. Which is why we should knock them off. But so if you think about it through that lens, and then you think about exactly what we were just talking about, it's I just think that people, who they're just ashamed of their sexual urges. And so they're this is a dirty thing that's in me, which means it's a dirty thing in general and whatever, when it's no, it's just a thing that dudes, I mean, some people are sick fucks, obviously, but wanting to fuck every hot girl that you see is genetically wired into every single dude. Higher testosterone, stronger the urge, but that is what it is. It's just about proliferation of the species. The woman is just this is, so I wrote a bit about this. Hopefully no one who's a stand-up comic will hear this and then steal it from me, but they won't be able to do it as well as I do anyway. But I wrote a bit about this where I'm talking about the actually I won't give the whole thing away, but how the sex drive for men is hunger for food, and so men are just starving all the time. The guys who cheat on their wife, it's the wife is eating a steak in front of them and never give them a bite. And I'm for women, basically the flip side is for women it's they're at an all-you-can-eat buffet all the time. There are all these stands with all this fucking great food. There's shitty food. There's incredible food. And they have to be incredibly selective because they know the second that they take a bite of anything from any single table, the person who is giving the samples is going to literally follow them around the room everywhere and be come on, take more, take more, take more. So they're they have to be really, really selective of whose food they eat. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's basically what it is. Guys trying to feed them all the time. And they're well, I like the look of that guy,
Yeah.
And thus you get the best, healthiest children,
I didn't know you're doing stand-up.
Oh, I used to do stand-up I did stand-up all through college. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've done a couple of open mics. It's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah. I killed all through. I used to do the same one for years and call every weekend. And I would all my friends, I just murder every single time. Especially because I could tell inside jokes that I knew the whole crowd would know. Yeah. But yeah.
You're not doing it no more. No mas.
No, I'm doing it now. I'm going to, now. Yeah.
You're going to get back into it?
I'm going to do live shows. I'm going to do live shows that correspond with where the UFCs are, so I know a lot of my fans will be in town. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I might hit up the Skank guys and do Skank Fest maybe.
Yes.
They let me up.
Dude, they'll totally let you in. Just talk to Robbie.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine they would. And also, have you gone to the mothership?
One of my jiu-jitsu training partners is a bouncer there, but I haven't been there yet. No, they're sold out.
Oh, really?
Forever. Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Okay, that's interesting. I need to come to Austin. We have so many contacts. You should go. I could get you in with Kill Tony. Although you have to go and submit your name, and it's like a drawing, and then it's a luck of the draw whether or not you get called up.
You only get a minute, dude. It would be hard for me to do a minute.
Yeah, you gotta work your way up into
my shit. I do a lot of like engagement setup.
Yeah. Well, that would be fun. I would like to go see you do some comedy. I've been doing this thing called Toastmasters. I've mentioned it in like the last 3 podcasts because it's my new thing. But have you ever heard of it? It is.
You should do a SHEATH. You should do a SHEATH comedy show and then get all your comedian sponsors.
Damn, that's a good idea. We have so many people we could get to come.
Dude, you should do that for sure. I would do that show in a heartbeat.
That's hilarious. That's a great
That could be a big event, dude, and get everybody to promote it and like do it.
Show up. Yeah. You got Shane Gillis, Mark Norman, Ari Shafir, Joe List, you, Louis J. Gomez, Dave Smith.
Yeah.
And we have a laundry list. Tony Hinchcliffe. Wow.
That could be a big fucking show, dude.
Yeah. Well, we sponsor Gangfest. Now that's a great idea. Great idea. I'll have to keep that in mind. My brother puts together events, and he'll be editing this podcast, and I'm sure he's going to love all of our discussion we've had over the course of this hour. All the controversies.
Yeah.
We're still doing it.
Do it in, dude, you could throw that thing in. I mean,
Austin,
you guys would, you'd make money, dude. They're like, that would sell out for sure.
Yeah, just by the
1,000% that would sell out. Yeah.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. I'm trying to sell these underwear. We could sell underwear there. But on that note, I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
I think you're the most returning guest we've had on the show, and we just had Corey Sandhagen, so I saw that. Following a good conversation there. That's pretty cool. Dude. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I have to admit. I got to hit pads with him briefly. And nice. Yeah, he's going to be doing a new striking instructional thing that we're going to sponsor some of. So we're like working with him like on and off now, which in person, like an in-person one. No, he's doing, it's an online course, which I don't know how those work, but he's going to be wearing SHEATH and he's going to be promoting the program on the social medias, which the whole instructional, he'll be wearing like our SHEATH shirt and stuff. I should get you a SHEATH shirt. Do you have one of those SHEATH shirts with the white? I wear it all the time. Okay. I never know. I mean, I think now that you mentioned it, I have seen I've worn it to a couple of the events that I go to too. Yeah. No, but like he Sandhagen, I've always been an extra fan of, just because like the same way where I'm saying like I try to get reads on people, and like his tattoos, he's got no visible tattoos, and he takes his shirt off and he has an entire fucking Grim Reaper back piece where that says so much about what he's actually like. That says so much about him as a person, where he's like, he doesn't want people to see him coming, and he's just like people look at him, they underestimate him, and he knows inside he's just a fucking samurai warrior. Yeah, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of type thing also. But I watched Song fight. Who did he fight last night? Ricky Simon. Yeah. Great fight. Yeah, that was a really close fight. We were supposed to sponsor Ricky on that, and I'm just like, I'm pulling back a little bit on so many sponsorships. But the fact that Corey beat Song whipped his motherfucking ass. That dude is a little prodigy. He's only 25. He hits like a truck. He's Chinese and moved to the States. Like, I was just saying that. So Ed Byers, the SEAL Team 6 Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, is a buddy of mine, and he texted me last night. He's like, "Who should I bet on?" And I was like, "I don't know, dude." I was like, "This is really close." And I told him Song Yadong. Thank God. Yes. He bet, I don't want to tell him the wrong pick, Yeah. And I was telling him after, I was like, dude, there's something about these fighters who are from Eastern countries who move to the United States to train, that they end up being incredible. I think it's something having to do with
that just demonstrates a total commitment to the sport. You know, to move from a place like China to America to train means like they're all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get that. They probably get a strong foundational discipline growing up in the East, and then coming to the West, they can explore more of the freedoms, but they have that discipline foundation and then expand, and you get the best of both. That's what Bruce Lee kind of did, I think, and he was trying to fuse the two, and then they killed him because he was speaking. The people that tell the truth too much, it seems like, with a large audience, they get whacked.
Tucker Carlson, the most successful cable news host, and they're just straight up gonna fire him and not even explain it. It's like, oh, really? You're not gonna explain it? Like, did it have anything to do with him exposing that January 6th was not at all how you presented it? Did it have anything to do with him exposing that the Viking guy, the QAnon shaman, was led around by your conspirators, or the fact that he talked about Ray Epps? Was that it? Did it have anything to do with him calling out Big Pharma? Did it have anything to do with him platforming RFK, who is going to be running against Joe Biden and would win 1,000%? And then now Joe Biden's, they just said the DNC's like, they're not going to do any primary debates. Oh, weird. I wonder why.
Wow.
I wonder why. Because Joe Biden would probably do really fucking well against RFK in a debate. He'd fuck his mouth to death.
Dude, RFK, first speech I heard, I was like, I like this guy.
He's the fucking man.
Yeah. So
but he is the biggest anti-vaxxer. He's the most visible and credible anti-vaxxer in the world. They will never let him win, dude.
I just bought his book. I guess he wrote The Real Anthony Fauci.
Read it.
Are you read it already?
Fuck these people, man.
Wow. Yeah, it's on the way from Amazon.
It'll make you.
I hate him more. I mean,
oh my God. It's like, it's exactly what you would just think. Worst case scenario, it's that. And you understand they would have sued him into the ground if a single fact was not true. The fact that they haven't sued him shows everything in that book is true, dude. Everything in that book is true. It's insanity.
Yeah. I mean, his RFK's voice is obviously a little funky, but I can understand what he was saying, and it's way better than listening to fucking Brandon.
At least he can speak English.
Yeah, he can coherently communicate, and he's speaking my language. It's like I'm resonating with the words that are coming out of your mouth. I'm not like, this is bullshit. Like what this dude's saying sounds like bullshit. This guy sounds like he's telling the truth. And I honestly, I'm not a scientist. I don't know the facts. I just have like common sense and I can read people and the vibe and everything. Yep. And I feel like I'm a relatively good judge of character.
Yep.
So,
dude, AOC and all those progressives, they all already endorsed Biden. It's like, you fucking fraud.
Yeah.
You fucking fraud.
Bought off, pandering criminals.
Yep. You get into office and you recognize, it's like you figure out how to play you come in all like, yeah, gung ho, fuck Nancy Pelosi. And then Nancy Pelosi and all them are kind of like, here, little girl, let me show you how you play the game. And she's like, wait, so if I do this, I make an additional $4 million a year. They're all, and they're like, oh,
I can
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck RFK.
Yeah. Cause I mean, whatever her name, AOC, she seemed like she probably came in with good intentions, and then
now she's like corrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
C-word.
Yep. So, and the absolute corruption? No, power corrupts absolutely. That whole thing.
Absolute. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, and we all see it. We're not blind, but some people are blind. You fucks, wake up, you sheep,
you fucking
lions.
Sheep. And they're going to, it's going to be amazing when they try to say that Biden won the next election. It's going to be hilarious. You're going to be like, oh yeah. Oh, really? He pulled it off, did he? He got 100 million votes this time.
The popular vote.
Yeah.
People are behind him. They want this imbecile.
Everyone loves Joe Biden because everything has gone so well in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, one of my friends was like saying Trump was the best president we ever had, and whatever, that remains to be seen. But comparatively, our lifestyle, the economy, etc., was way better all the way up until the very end there. And
you ask anyone why not Trump? They're like, they will look at January 6th, look at blah, blah. You're like, oh my God, you fucking moron.
It's Russiagate still.
Russiagate. You're like, it's a proven fact that they fucking concocted that, dude. Like,
I mean, he did fuck up with COVID, so there's plenty of reason. There's plenty of like evidence to say he shouldn't be president or whatever. I mean, I could come up with stuff, but those are the things they come up with because that's what the media tells them, and then
so they tell the media, and then the media just does what BlackRock owns all of the channels. BlackRock tells them what to say. That's why. And they fired Tucker Carlson and they fired Don Lemon the same day. So it's like, oh yeah, it's totally unrelated. You're like,
wow,
sure, dude.
Yeah, and Fox to me used to be the place to go for me to get my news because it was jiving with my
only Tucker. They're dead to me now.
I liked Gutfeld. I don't know if you've watched him.
Honestly, I didn't even watch that much Tucker. I don't watch mainstream media at all.
Yeah, I don't either anymore. Yeah. Ever since the 2020 election, and I started seeing stuff like Fox was kind of going the same route as CNN a little bit, and I was just like, oh, you're all fucking bought off. I'm out.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I gotta jump.
Yeah.
But this is awesome, dude. Let's do it again very soon.
Yeah, we'll do it, 3 to 6 months. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back next time. Peace.